This is my walking horse gelding Superstars masterpiece. I call him Junior. You can follow his progression in his training by going to his playlist on YouTube, and it is his playlist. All my horses have, not all of them, but any ones that I'm recording any sort of videos on have their own playlist, and it is organized by their registered name, because all my horses are purebred registered Tennessee walking horses. I'm Ed, by the way. Anyhow, so you can find, nope, no, just stand here. I don't want you to go anywhere. Back up, back. Hold on a second here. Got to move him back to where he was. I didn't tell him to go. Okay, so they're all registered Tennessee walking horses, and they're put under their registered name, which is it's a unique name, so it's like kind of like a social security number, so I won't have any duplicates. Anyway, his registered name is Superstars Masterpiece. So if you look up that, if you're interested in this horse and you want to follow his progress, just go to Superstars Masterpiece on my YouTube channel in the playlist section, and you can look at all his videos from the very beginning when I first started training him. This is I think it's his third ride in this traditional Hackamore. This is a 5/16 Ozal and a 5/16 horsehair Makati rein. And I'm just trying to get him. I'm going to do some stuff with him in the round pen a little bit, and then I'll take him out. I want to just see where his head is. If you look inside here, you'll see I have these logs put out, and this is Pat Puckett's brainchild, where he puts like 5 poles out in a rough circle with gaps in between. You see the gaps in between there, and basically the idea is to teach him to side pass over the logs. His point with the logs is that the horses, it kind of helps you because they don't like to bang their feet on the logs, so they kind of they're a little bit more inclined to stay in that position, and it'll help them learn quicker. But the idea, what you want to be able to do is to be able to side pass around this circle without stopping, without touching a log with the horse's feet. It's a lot harder than you think. And then once you get that, then you would change direction, or you'd spin, and you'd be facing inside of one thing, and then you would get to the gap and you'd spin around and go the other way. You'd be facing out, and then you'd spin around and face in, and do it like that. So, but I'm just gonna play around with him and see how he does here. I'll get him moving out. So what I'm gonna do is I just been sitting like a sack of potatoes here. He knows he's off. His reins are on his neck. So what I'll do is I'm gonna sit up, and then I'll pick up the reins, and that's the first cue, like, hey, he needs to pay attention. And then I'll move my hand forward, and if he walks off, fine. If he doesn't, I'll squeeze my legs. So here we go. Okay. Stuff's blowing around. It's really windy today. Really windy. Just blew over a garbage can. Okay, so sitting up. Here we go. Squeeze my leg. There. Just had to cluck him a little bit to get him go. All right, come on. Let's go, buddy. So this, if you watched any of the other videos in the Hackamore setup here, these are you only you bump with these, and you bump with one hand at a time. So I'm trying to get him to step over the log here. Step over. There you go. Come on, step over. Both legs. There you go. Good boy. All right, now let's try. So I'm going to get myself in the side pass position, and put my weight on my left seat bone and look that way, and he took a step. Good. You start with a step, and then it's best to kind of pitch the reins and let him think about it a little bit. Now see how his ears are on me? That's good. So now once he learns this, you raise the bar, and you become quicker and more demanding. You expect a little more, okay? But he's just learning. So the reason you would make it real clear that that was a good move, what he did, and release. Everything's about your timing. So releasing like that, it's a clear sign like, oh, that was something right. If I would try to get 4, 5, 6, 10 steps, somewhere in that process, because I'd be putting pressure on him and stuff like that, he might start to think, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not getting any release here. And then he might start throwing, or he or she, whoever you're riding, might start throwing other behaviors at you, okay? So you don't want that. You want to be as clear as you possibly can. So here we go. We'll do that again. So, nope. See, he was starting to think on his own a little bit. So now I'm gonna, there. Nope. I just bumped him back. All right, there you go. Nope. He's just confused, so I got to get myself in a good position. Put a little left leg on him. There you go. Good. He was leaning forward a little bit like he was going to step forward. That's why I bumped back a hair. Okay, so now I'm going to go again. And what you do is like I'm trying to side pass to the right here. And so I'm sitting on my left seat bone, and I've got my right leg opened like it's an open door a little bit there. And think about it, it's like a bar of soap on a wet counter. If I were to push here, it would scoot that way. If I were to push here, it would scoot that way. If I were to have a barricade there and push there, it would just be stuck. And that's why you lift your leg. So you lift your leg off the horse like that, and it opens the door. And then you would touch your other leg on that side if I'm going that way. And I'm also leaning on like if these are my seat bones, I'm leaning on like that. So I'm going like that and opening this leg. So if my pinky's my leg, you can see that. I lift it up a little bit, and I lean down, and then he'll step over. So that's what I'm doing there. Okay, let's see how he does. Come on, buddy. Come on. Okay, keep going. Now this is interesting because when they come to the next pole, they don't usually like to just have it pass underneath their belly without. They usually like to step over. That'll get them a little bit. They'll think like, uh-oh, they get a little nervous. That's vulnerable for them. So there, he did it again. Good boy. So this kind of stuff, like when you teach them something, this right here at some point will be his go-to. He'll know how to do this. And so when I start to teach some other sort of skill that he doesn't know, partway through that, I'll reward the smallest thing. But sometimes what you do then is you'll then take him to something that he knows, or he or she knows, and it's their go-to. So that gives them confidence, You don't want to just keep frazzling their brains, Sometimes just go, okay, let's do something there. Good boy. See, he's getting this. This is going to be a really good horse for somebody. He's pretty darn laid back. He's currently, and I think this might change, but he has more whoa than go. Now, back up there, bud. He has a little bit more whoa than go, and he, come on, step back. And okay, let me tell you something else I'm doing here. Just so you know, like when I'm pulling back, I'm going like this with my hands, so I'm not pulling at the same time. Back, there you go, come on. So anyhow, like I said, he has more whoa than go, but that might change, once he gets a little bit more comfortable with stuff, he might find his, like he's got a little bit more energy and stuff. I don't know. But he's kind of he's really kind of easy. He's really easy going. He's a steady Eddie. Hey, buddy. One thing he does is, like I said in my other video, this horse so far, even when I do groundwork with him, he walks, gaits, canters, or gallops. That's it. I've not seen him trot, and I've not seen him pace. He's done some intermediate things, like when he's between any of those things, like if he's accelerating up into something. But it's pretty interesting. He just walks, gaits, canters, and gallops. And yeah, there you go. Good boy. See how he's getting that? He's getting that really well. So I just put a little bit of leg, just touching him on the side. Important thing to understand too is when you're starting with cues, you'll only he blew out of that. Back up. You'll only be as light as what you start with. So if you start with a spur, that's as light as you're going to get. Or you start with a lot of pressure, it's as light as you're going to get. Now I'm just turning his rear end over a little bit. There you go. Good. Now we're going to side pass over this. Come on, buddy. Get myself in position. I'm going to try to get 3 steps here. There's 2. There you go. There's 3. Good boy. Like I said, this is his schooling rides. This is the kind of rides that we put on younger horses when we're starting them. People get all bent out of shape about sitting on a horse if it's 2. These horses climb all over each other all day long. They're laying on each other's backs, everything. Our weight does not hurt them. I don't care how undeveloped their bones are or whatever. What hurts them is if you try to do really athletic stuff with them for lengths of time, what I call drilling them, that will break them down. Just like it would break you down. Like if you want to run a marathon, you just don't sign up for a marathon and go do a marathon. You just don't. You kill yourself. You give yourself ankle problems, knee problems, back problems. Who knows? You have to build yourself up to it. Well, but you can learn. You could learn some stuff. You could learn proper way to run. You could learn, just different things like that, and then also get yourself in shape. It's the same with the horses. I mean, so we're working with their mind. I don't want to start them when they're. I've had some people say I should start them when they're 6 and stuff. Well, I'm not doing it, because it's too hard. They're set in their ways, and they've had 6 years of, none of that stuff. They're more set. They're like an adult person. You're better off when they're younger. They're quite a bit more pliable and easygoing about it. There you go, good boy. So that's what we do, and I usually will put like on a horse like this. The most I do is usually 3 rides a week. I'm just riding other horses and stuff too. I don't have the time, I don't believe in putting 6 rides, a week on a horse that's young like this. That's the kind of stuff. I guess it depends on how much, but mentally and physically, they can't stand up to it. So we do 30-minute to an hour sessions, depending on how they're doing and what they're learning. But you can kind of see the pace of it here. Now what I'll do too is, here we go, I'm getting him over. Come on, rock. Here, got to pick up that. Got to get his hind end over. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Like I said, we do these kind of schooling rides, and what I'll do too is I'll move him around here. I'll get going faster with him and stuff, and I'm going to try to do some rollbacks and see if I can do that with him. But I just want to see where his mind is right now. So he's pretty good. You see how his ears are on me? That's good. That's a good sign. So okay, I'm going to try doing it the other direction. Well, I'm going to just finish up this log, and then I'll go the other direction. Here we go. Come on. Here you go. There you go. Good boy. So there's a lot of this, a lot of sitting and letting them soak stuff in. Now, you'll see when I get them out on the trail, a lot of times the horses will have a lot more energy because they want to get back to the barn and they want to get back to their herd mates and all that. And what I'll say to do, like ideally, if they're trying to get back to the barn, what you should do is take them back to the barn, let them take you back to the barn where they want to go. You know, be safe about it. I mean, if they want to run back full steam, try to slow them down a little bit, but get back to the barn. And when they get back to where they want to be, then you work them and you do some challenging stuff with them, okay? Some stuff that takes some athleticism, like if you were doing some sort of calisthenics yourself and some sort of workout routine, it would be the stuff that you would be going like, oh gosh, I'm going to be sweating with that. You know, it's not my favorite, you know, that kind of thing. That's what you would do. A lot of times it's stuff like, here, back up. A lot of times it's stuff like disengaging the hind end and stuff like that, you know. That's hard for them, you know. And so then you do that coming back. You would do that coming back and when you're back at the barn. And then once you do that for quite a bit, then you head back out on the trail. And then you don't work. You just go out nice and easy. If he turns around and wants to go back to the barn, you let him go, and then you do the same thing. You repeat it. And it may be 3, 4, 5, 6 times that you're doing that. And then at some point, every horse is different, but at some point that horse will go, no, I don't want to go back to the barn. That's work. And you can do the same sort of thing like with, if your horse is, you know, buddy sour or something, you know. What you would do with them then is, I got myself in position here, got to lift up like this, disengage his hind end. There you go, good. So with the buddy sour thing, what you would do is the horse that they want to get to, you'd let them run up, you know, relatively close, and then you start doing all that work with them once they get in proximity with that other horse. Good boy. And you work them then, and then you go out, you separate, and then you relax out there. Whoop, no. See, he took advantage of there. Come on. All right, back up. So that you would run them together like that and then just work them, and then they start to associate, oh man, when I get by my buddy, it's a lot of work. I'm better off if I stand back a little bit. So that's what you do. But what I also do is when they give me a lot of energy out there, is I put it to work. You know, so like I'll go around a lot of, nope, back up. I go around a lot of trees and stuff like that and work on, you know, different leg cues and stuff. There we go. This guy, the one thing he will do is he will kind of just stand there and take a lot, you know. Like I said, he's not super sensitive. He's not dead-sided, don't get me wrong. He's not like that. He'll just stand there, you know. I saw him in the field with when we put him with these other horses. They came up to him and this one just started kicking him in the chest, and he just stood there and looked at him like, is that all you got? You know, that's why I call him Moose. He's like a big tank, you know. We said that he's going to be like a work truck, you know, or a dump truck, you know. But he's really nice. I mean, he's a good boy. There you go. Good. Whoop. I should have blocked him with the other side there. There we go. Throw it down. Good boy. So the guys are coming back from lunch. So I'm going to do a little bit more with him in here, and then I'm going to take him out. So like I said, a lot of sitting like this. So here we go. See how he's getting ready? It's kind of cute. No. See, he anticipated going to the right. There you go. There you go. Like I said, it's not pretty yet, you know. There you go. There you go. Come on. And I'll speed it up here as he starts to learn. So, I mean, this is not what you want for the end result, obviously. There we go. So once he starts to figure out, like in moving off my leg, a little pressure, once he starts to get it, when he doesn't, I'll bump him a little bit. Like I'll just bump him a little bit with my calf. You know, I just did that a little bit there because I gave him the stuff. I'm soft right now. I've got my leg barely on him. He's not, I know he knows, so I'm gonna bump him. Come on, come on. There you go. Come on. Step over. There you go. There we go. Come on, step over. There you go. Good boy. Good, that was good. All right, let's go ahead out here. All right. Come on. See, I mean, he's kind of like, this is what he's, like I said, he's more whoa than go. And putting him on a spectrum, like putting Blonde, my mare Blondie, if you see her, I'd put her way to the other end of the spectrum of being sensitive and high energy, and him on the other end. Come on now, you see how he's blowing out? So even with him like moving around like this and kind of just poking, you know, he's still thinking about stuff, and he's got some, oh, come on, let's go here. I got my left leg on him. Still got some, you know, he's retaining some stuff. Horses are real sensitive like that. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. So what I'll do, like with him, like, I don't know if he's peeing. What I'll do is when he slows like this or won't step out, I'll go through my set of cues, and then what I'll do is I'll probably crack my own leg first, because then I'll go through a number of stages. Like the hand going forward's one, or sitting up's the first one, hand going forward, squeeze my legs, cluck, if that doesn't work, spank my leg, if that doesn't work, spank my leg with the squirt thing, if that doesn't work, you know, might do some over under, and then I'll crack him, whatever. He's still in the real learning stages of this, so I'm going through these stages with him, okay? And eventually he'll try to avoid all the higher levels of stuff. So here we go. I got my arms forward, squeezing, cluck. There he went. Come on. Now see how I just taking off slow. Come on. I did it all again. I got my legs squeezed. All right, come on. Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Here we go. I gotta get this fixed here. Okay. Come on, let's go. Come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some just slow rollbacks. This is just a schooling thing, you know, get him an idea. So I'm going to sit back, lean, pull. Give me a roll back. That was not good. All right, I'm going to cut it off here because I need to work on this and just think about it, not talk about it. Thanks for watching. Should people subscribe? They should. Hey, smash that like button and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.